Are you interested in real estate investing but not quite sure where to get started? Do you want to get the know-hows on creating ongoing passive income using the buy and hold strategy? Hi, I'm Janice Bowles, licensed realtor and co-founder of B Premier Ventures, a real estate development and consulting firm where we buy and beautify distressed real estate, renovate it, and resell for profit. With over 15 years of investing experience, B Premier has extensive knowledge in rural land development, fix and flips, and rental acquisitions. B Premier's project consulting, project management, and group coaching. For more information, visit our website at bpremierventures.com and schedule a complimentary discovery session or subscribe to our email list. It's free. Follow me on Instagram at Janice Bowles for additional real estate investing tips. B Premier Ventures, we buy and beautify.
Welcome to today's episode of Let's Do It Talk Show. It's your girl, Ladrine Howard Peterson, the CEO and founder of Do It, delivering on ideas and thoughts. And you know what I do in a nutshell, right? I help to turn dreamers into doers, and I do it from two aspects. I do it from the aspect of career development. Resume writing, interview preparations, you're looking to change jobs, you have an issue on your job, I am your girl. And then I also do it from the aspect of business. If you are looking to start a business, if you are looking for marketing strategies, looking to expand your business, or if you just have some ideas and thoughts and don't know how to bring them to fruition, I am your girl. Here on the Let's Do It Talk Show, we were primarily created for entrepreneurs, right? Quickly, we realized that the entrepreneur is an entire person. So we talk about faith, we talk about finances, we talk about future, and we talk about families and relationships. So today's episode is just get ready for today's episode. It's going to be absolutely powerful. It's titled No Other Choice. No Other Choice. And then I pulled in a subtitle, a quote from Andrew Ryan that reads, "We all make choices, but in the end, our choices make us." And I'll get into and talk about that a little bit later. And a special guest with me today. I'm going one on one with Mr. Dante Smith. He's going to be telling you all about his story, his past, but more importantly, his present and where he is now. But you know what I do before I jump into the show, right? I tell you all about my week and my weekend. So this weekend, this week was great. This weekend was trying. Um, been hanging out with my girl Sean. We've been getting our nice walk on, and we ran into some Mount Eden members who were a little bit older than us. That's my church, and they inspired us to walk a little bit more than our 2 miles, which was so exciting. But in addition to that, we finally had the celebration of life for my aunt Retha May Howard. She felt that she also had a ceremony, the actual funeral in South Carolina, but we had to do the DC and it took some time. So huge shout out to Glass Manor Recreation as well as the school who allowed us to use the gymnasium where she worked for years, retired just 2 weeks prior to her passing. And then on Sunday, I ran into my good friend Patrice is her mom who worships with me at Mount Eden. Did a little cooking, a little cooking. I cooked some greens, and my greens are made. Then I had some pictures of this deer. Deers were in my backyard, and so it was one of them that just stood there. I told the other ones to leave. They kind of left, but one was trying to go toe to toe. So I don't know what was going on with that. But today, like just now, I don't know. I went out there to walk for a little, but I end up stretching it to 6 miles, and I've been doing 2 miles. So I've been doing 6 miles a week with my walking partner, LaShawn Reese, just trying to get back into the swing of things. But the weather was nice. Everything was going very well. So 6 miles, I got it in. So I'm a little bit hype. I'm trying to maintain my cool as I jump into it. But y'all know when I get hype, I'm hype, right? So yeah, that's my move for today. But before I jump into the story, like the walk was very necessary for me. It's so much that's going on. It's so many losses from family and friends, and just one. And we will definitely be honoring our shows, our upcoming shows, in honor of one of our co-hosts, Shanae Robinson. Her son transitioned on Friday, and it's the most devastating news for our show. Um, Shanae, if you watch the replay, we love you, and definitely continuing to keep you and your family in prayer. Just tender age of 15 years, and also Tennille Blackwell. I went on social media today and saw that she lost her son last night to violence. So my heart and my prayers go out to her. She was a guest on this show, I want to say last year around this time or so. But um very nice woman. I watched her son and other kids grow up at my former church, the church that I went to prior to going to Mount Enid. Just so many other things. Wednesday, my best friend's uncle's funeral. My friend Katrina Bullock reached out to her. Two members in her family passed away. It's just so many people, and I apologize for anybody that I'm leaving off the list. Saturday, the person who was a speaker at Faithpreneur Conference, the conference that I attend every year, is in New York. I didn't go this year in person, but just so many things going on. So I just wanted to say, a little message just for everybody: hug your loved ones, talk to your loved ones, have relationship with your loved ones, and take care of yourself, because you truly do not know your last day nor the last day of your loved ones. So it was a very emotional weekend for me, but stay superly in prayer for everyone who is going through and who's dealing with. So, all right, got that off my chest. That's what a part of the extra miles for the walk was for. But feeling good and ready for this interview. We have been putting it in the works for a couple weeks, but so excited to have Mr. Dante with me. And I'm going to let him share a little bit about himself, but I just wanted to give a couple of pointers. He and his wife, actually, they're my prayer partners, along with a whole nother group of trucking God's way on in Clubhouse on each morning. So each day of the week, early wee hours of the morning, we get together and we all pray. So he came on one day and he shared his story, and just so many things. So a couple things about him: he has a big heart for evangelism and outreach. His passion is helping our youth. When he was young, nobody molded him and nobody guided him, and he feels like he lost so much of his life to the streets and prison. And from that, he just wants to help people, help someone from going the route that he went. He's involved with Strong Soldier on the battlefield for Christ. He's a mentor at Flow, co-founder of Team Hope Outreach, the founder of Sharpshooter Ministries. He has an associate's degree in biblical studies as well as a bachelor's degree in theology. And his mission with the Sharpshooter Ministry is helping lost, broken people become passionate, devoted followers of Jesus Christ. And Dante, I will let you share anything else that you want to share with the audience. But first of all, I just want to say welcome, welcome, welcome to this platform. Excited to have you.
Thank you. First, I want to give honor to Jesus Christ. I, I mean, you pretty much summed up everything right there in one word. But um, like I said, like she said, I really am passionate about the youth. You know, when I was young, nobody really came to me and taught me anything. Nobody molded me in the right direction. It wasn't, even when I was in the streets, it was no church coming to us to preach to us. Nobody coming to us trying to give us the word of God. All we had was our brothers in the streets. So we didn't, we never got God I never really received God till I got to an older age. I mean, I was taught a little bit as a kid, but I never really had Christ in my life until I became older.
Amen. So, you sincerely and truly have a powerful testimony. So, before we jump into your testimony, we all know what comes before a testimony, right? A test. So let's
Yeah.
talk about your test. Let's highlight the pivotal points of your test that got you to the point of where you are. Some things when and how you got involved with selling drugs and being in a gang, and then just kind of like talking about any trials of your life about in prison. But I definitely want to talk and set the stage before we go into your testimony.
Okay. Um, well, I mean, just from the beginning, I mean, from a young age, it was a lot of things going on in my home. It wasn't really happy for me. Me and my dad didn't really get along too tough. So I ended up living with my grandmother. My mom sent me to live with my grandmother. While I was living with my grandmother, she stayed on a side of town where it was a lot of, drug things going on, a lot of violence going on. And it was a different life for me because my dad was kind of a wealthy guy. So I'm seeing a whole nother lifestyle. And, he wasn't really doing much to support me as I was living with my grandmother. So her and my grandfather got a check. I think it was like $700 a month for just the two of them, and they used that. With that, they paid the bills and
Right.
tried to put me through school, buy clothes and everything. And I got picked at so much about the things I was wearing and the clothes I had. I didn't have the name brand stuff. So of course I'm gonna adapt to what everybody else was doing to try to get what I wanted. Um, a lifestyle that I really truly didn't have to live, but I kind of was forced my way into it.
About how old were you?
At that time, I was 16,
And
15, turning about 15, almost 16.
being at the age of 16, that was and again, I keep telling everybody I didn't sell drugs, but I keep talking
Yeah,
as if I'm experienced. But in all honesty, I grew up in the hood. I grew up in Southeast DC, which is the worst quadrant of Washington DC. There were a lot of drugs, a lot of shooting, a lot of everything going on, but more specifically about the drugs. When I think back to the majority of my male friends who started hustling, like we call it hustling, and
yeah.
I had someone else on there with gang banging, but so I might use the words interchangeably, but you know what I'm talking about, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I had like my friends, young friends who were hustling. A lot of it came from the point of living in poverty and not having the clothes, not having food, and having to care for their little sisters or little sisters and brothers or themselves. And then once they got started, it was like glittering and gold to them that they figure out it was a way to get fast money. So talk to me. So 16-year old, did you have living with your grandma and your grandpa on very low income from them? But did you have any siblings? I mean, did you have any other people other than like the clothes and wanting things? What about like your friends and all that other stuff? So just tell me a little tad bit more about that.
Okay. Well, actually, my brother, he eventually ended up running away from home and coming to live with me and my grandmother too. And so now it was more than just me to support. I was trying to do whatever I could to help my brother because I didn't want him to get into the lifestyle that I was living because things was already getting kind of rough for me. I was doing a lot. I was involved in a lot of things at that time that were heading me down the wrong road. So I kind of didn't want my brother to start to mess up his life as I was already doing. I had already went to jail a couple times and been in and out of program after program and facility after facility. You know,
And at what age was the first time you went to jail or detention?
15, I think, 14 or 15.
And what was the last age?
Ooh, think 39,
Okay.
38, 39.
Okay. And so the title, we're gonna like move and shift into
Yeah,
the title with question. You know that's your title, right? No other choice. I was going, and I think even last show I announced it that it was going to be never would have made it. But then I kept going back to your information, kept going back to your information, and it had to be no other choice because you talk about not having any other choice. So, to get me to that point, what was your breaking point? When was the point when you decided that you didn't want to live the game life anymore? Or you can walk us up to that and to the point where you it wasn't even a decision for you. You had no other choice. So bring us to that point.
Well, actually, I had from my first time going to prison, I kind of got locked up. I was involved in robbery, and my best friend got killed in the robbery, and they locked me up for murder. Anytime it takes place during another felony, it's a felony murder law. So they locked me up in that. I felt like God had turned his back on me. I felt like it wasn't no such thing as God at that particular time. So as we do when we go to prison, we look for a way out, everything but God. And so I became a member of the 5% Nation of Islam. And I was running around, I was talking about I was God. I was so deep into this. I was studying the Bible, the Quran, Rastafarianism, everything, just trying to prove everything wrong uh, that the Bible was wrong. Everything that was written was man made.
Wow.
And as I was going through this, as I was reading and studying more and more, it started to change my life. It started to embed in me. Certain scriptures started to stick with me. They were starting. I was starting to learn these things, and I was starting to see more and more of the light, slowly but surely. I had another best friend, my man Born Justice, Scott Hinton. He was a 5%er with me, and we on like maybe my third bid, me and him was in prison together, and he gave his life to Christ right before he came to prison.
Mm-hmm.
And I would ask him, why would you be blind like that? I was asking him, why would you be blind like that? How would you fall to believing in a mystery God and something that you can't see? And I remember the story that he told me about how he got saved. And he came into prison. God got him into prison to get him off the streets, to get his life together, to give him some time away from everything out there. And he became a minister after that. He's been a minister for over 20 years now. And I never forget that day, the conversations we had. It was prophesied to us at the same time that both of us would be preaching, both of us would be ministers. And I didn't believe in prophecy because I saw what was happening in his life and it never happened in mine. Then slowly but surely everything started changing. As I came, my the final bid final time I went to prison, I think it was like 2009, I believe, 2010. I My grandmother got real sick. They had her in the ICU or something like that. And my family didn't tell me about it. They didn't want me to get in any trouble while I was in prison. They didn't want me to be worried. So I found out about it when I got out, and I made a vow with myself. Then I started to believe in God at that particular time.
Okay.
And I told God, I said I would change my life if you've changed my life and kept me out of prison. I left the state. I left North Carolina. I moved to Massachusetts. Thought I was changing my life. I thought running away from North Carolina was the way to fix everything, but that wasn't particularly it because I still was living that same kind of lifestyle, but I just had a job.
Okay.
It was still straying away from God. I wasn't as close as I should be, and I wasn't fully in tune with God. But uh, ended up coming back at some things. That's how my life changed from there. But
Okay. And how did your past impact your immediate family, such as your wife, your children, like in during this phase? Because you're speaking like 39. So at what point were you already married? Did you have children, or was it after you came out of jail that you got married and have children? And either way, answer that first, and then either way, how has your past impacted your family?
Okay. Well, I got married after I finally got my life together. Once I finally got saved and got my life on the right track. Me and my wife, we were actually met in high school. She wouldn't pay me any attention in high school. I was one of the wild guys. She was a good girl, and she wasn't really. I wasn't her type at that particular time. But my family, it impacted my daughter a lot because while I was in prison, her mother had some drug issues. Her mother lost custody of her. So with me, they took my parental rights because I was in prison because of my record. So my daughter was taken into foster care. And, we still have a lot of, hard situations about that. But we have a closer relationship now. But that truly impacted my family. Um, my mother and my grandmother, I think, they've been there for me through thick and thin. They've been my best friends through it all. So I think it drew us closer together. Me going through prison, my we started to learn each other and started to love each other even more. And especially once I gave my life to Christ.
Yeah, and it's powerful in terms of how different things happen while when you're going through. Of course, you would think prison is the worst thing ever to happen in your life, but that solitude, by it bringing you closer to your grandma and your mother, it definitely have some pluses and minuses to it, whether we think through it or not. So, just glad that you were able to come close with them, and also that you had a support system. Because sometimes, unfortunately, when people get locked up, they don't have a support system, and it kind of like makes them give up and be like, I don't care. So they end up wilding out even more while they are in prison. So my next question, and this is if you can share it. Please tell us, how did you leave the gang or the crew that you hung with?
All right. Well, with the gang thing, I actually, which was crazy because, we always had the little neighborhood gang thing, but I actually becoming a blood member was actually at an older age, which was strange for me. But it was, what the place where I was hustling at, the place where I lived at. Actually, one of my close friends, he was an OG, and me and him were standing in our yard, and someone had shot up my house. My man Taiwan, and someone
Don't
had
name,
shot up our house.
don't name no names. Don't name
Okay.
no
Oh,
names.
sorry. But actually, someone had shot up our house, and as they shot up the house, I told them I wanted to become blood from that moment on
Oh
because I
wow.
felt like I was a part of it. For just for that, that put me in it. And I went through. I just went through so much. I wasn't really feeling it. I just felt like it wasn't for me. I'm not the type to have to report to somebody or the type to do what somebody else tells me to do. I'm pretty much my own man, and I actually it's kind of hard to explain, but normally I wanted out myself.
Mm.
So as I got out, they actually gave me what they call a fourth paw. A fourth paw is like kind of making you food but putting you out of it.
Say
So
that
as they
again.
burn that foot,
Say that again.
huh?
Kind of making you what, but putting you out of it.
Making you food almost. They call it food like you're somebody that's no longer a member. That you're somebody that they could eat whenever they want. They could
Oh,
jump on
got you,
whenever they want.
got you,
Yeah.
got you. Okay, okay.
And I said I took the fourth. I took the fourth, and I said I'm not a follower. I don't need to be blood. I don't have to be a part of this. But my friend, he actually put it where nobody, kind of nothing ever happened to me. Put it like that. It was just like kind of you go I go you go your way, I go my way, and I still had a lot of friends that are still involved in it, but it just wasn't for me. So
Yeah.
I left that part of life alone. Um,
And once
but
you left it, like the one time when you left it, was it any temptation to go back or anything that ever like almost pulled you in?
not the gang life, but the I wasn't really in the gang life long, but it was more the street life.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, times got hard. I mean, even leaving up my testimony once I give you that, that's a part of it. But I was headed back into that road of destruction. Yes.
Okay, so let's go into like your testimony. So, one of the things again, your clubhouse bio states, and I quote it: "I had no choice." And I'm
Yeah.
telling you, I read that over and over and over and over again. So as you begin to tell your testimony, I want you to unpack this quote, because the thing that I really want to get at is the day that you actually surrendered your life to God. I want you to describe the change and describe the difference. You know, Tremaine Hawkins' change. You know that I can't sing. If I could sing, I would sing it for you. But that song and the words to it, like when somebody go through a change, that hit you. So just tell me, like, what was that moment for? What did it feel like for you?
Man, it was like one of the greatest moments of my life. I felt
Amen.
so full, so relieved. Uh, I just felt light. I just felt light. I had so much guilt in me, so much pain in me, so much hurt that I had
Amen.
dealt with for so many years. And I just felt like everything, all of my burdens were lifted at that particular moment. Um, you want me to go into it or
Yes,
go
absolutely.
ahead?
You can jump on
Okay.
into your whole testimony.
Okay. Well, at this particular moment, I was at a point in my life. I had met somebody. I was in a relationship, and it was to the point. I was starting to. I was believing in God at this particular time, but I wasn't in church,
Okay.
and it was almost to the point that I was putting her before God. It was like it seemed like she was everything to me. It seemed like
Mm.
just more in lust than in love, though. You know, and at this particular time, so much things were changing in my life. I was on drugs heavy. We were sniffing cocaine so heavy. I was partying every night, alcohol so heavy. The streets, I was like catching myself all the way back in the streets. And what happened was, I got mixed up kind of in a situation where a murder had happened. Well, at this particular time, the police were coming to our house every single day,
Oh wow.
knocking on the door, trying to question me in the murder. They wanted me to testify against one of my friends, and I didn't want to get involved in it, so I would never answer the door. So at the same time, I'm looking over my shoulder for the person who got murdered. I'm looking over the shoulder for his family members. I'm looking over my shoulder for the police. I'm looking over the shoulder for fellow gang members, friends, that particular friends that I considered. I'm looking over my shoulder. The drugs, the everything in my life was like in turmoil. At this particular time, the drugs were so heavy. My car had got repossessed. We had got evicted from my house. I was to the point I was getting back into the streets. I had started this particular night. I had went and sold some drugs, to try to get the money up. So when we go to court, I would have the money to pay the judge, so we wouldn't get evicted. But at the time, my drug addiction was so heavy that I messed up majority of the money.
Wow.
That's how much stress I was under, and my life was just going in a downward spiral mode. And I remember somebody that's a real close friend of mine right now. She had called me. Well, she actually had messaged me on Facebook, and she said she wanted to give me a message from God. And at the particular time, I didn't believe in prophecy because somebody had prophesied to the girl that I was with that we were going to get married, that we were going to be together forever, and that we had just broke up. So I'm already like not believing in prophecy.
Right.
So she came to me, and I heard her out, and I listened. I talked to her on the phone, and she prayed with me, and she gave me a message, and she told me that I needed to get my life in order. God was going to take me to another level, that He was going to bless me, He was going to change my whole life if I just gave Him all of me.
Wow.
And I didn't really want to hear it. I didn't really. I was still blinded to it. Like, okay, these fake prophets. I don't want to hear this. And as time went on, maybe a week later, I never forget the conversation me and her had. But maybe a week later, I was at the lowest I could go. I said, okay, my car's repossessed. I'll get another car. My income tax money's on the way. I called, like, where's my check? Where's my refund? What's going on? And found out that had been audited. They had took my refund.
Oh, wow.
For drug taxes. So that was like my last hope. I'm already living in the streets, so now I have no choice but to go back home to my mom. The hardest thing to do as a man is go back home to mama.
Right.
So at this particular time, I ended up going back home, which led up to the lowest part of my life was I remember this day I got up that morning, I went to the grocery store, I bought a bottle of sleeping pills. It was 50 Tylenol PMs. I left. I had a friend come pick me up. Well, I went and got with one of my cousins, and we sat and got high all night. We sniffed all night. And the particular female I had to deal with at that time, she called me over and said she wanted to talk. Well, came over her house, and we sat up and we got high, and we drank and we drank, and I knew what I was going to do as soon as we went to sleep. I woke up and I went to the bathroom. And I went to the bathroom. I took all 50 of the sleeping pills. Woo. I came back. I laid on the couch. And at this particular time, I had a lot of heart issues. So I just knew it was going to kill me. I just knew it was going to kill me. There's no way, even the doctors, they don't understand how I made it. But when I woke up, maybe after an hour, and I tried to talk, I tried to get her attention. I was shaking her, and nothing could come out my mouth. No words could come out my mouth. It was like my mouth was muted. I was shut. Every time I would say something, nothing would come out. And I kept shaking her, and she was asking me what was wrong. And then finally, she saw the bottle on the floor, and she called the ambulance. The ambulance finally got there. I don't remember too much. I just know I remember bits and pieces. I remember, waking up in the hospital. I remember every time I would wake up, it would be two different family members in the room. Everybody knows that when you go through that, I was in ICU. So I was thinking I was about to die. They were letting them see me one last time, two at a time. And I remember times that they were saying, I was so out of it. I'm be honest, demons have attacked me so hard. I was so out of there, it took my mind. I remember that the nurses I kept telling the nurses, they keep bothering me. They keep bothering me.
Wow.
And the nurse was like, what? And I was like, them over there. Nothing was over there.
Jesus.
I know at that time now that it was demons over there. The demons were, it was just a scary time in my life. But I remember as I finally woke up, I pulled through and I woke up in ICU. I remember cursing God when I woke up. Like, why did you let me live?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I remember that. And from that moment on, I knew that God had a plan for me, though. One of my friends came and visit me in the hospital in the mental ward, and he came and visited me, and he gave me a book called God Has a Plan B by Max Lucado. And that's all I had. They didn't give me no clothes, nothing. That's all I had was that book and a miniature Bible.
So did you go? I'm sorry. Did you go straight from the hospital to the mental ward?
It was inside of the hospital.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So while I was in there, they came to all my friends, people were coming to visit me, and I remember my friend, he bought me this book. All I had was that book and one of those little small New Testaments. Well, I remember I sat up that night and I read that. I was reading the New Testament, and I remember that day I had been reading the book God Has a Plan B. And it was telling me the whole day, it was telling me about the story of Joseph and how he had got thrown in the pit. And as he got thrown in the pit, I felt like that was me. I was at rock bottom. I was all the way at the bottom of my life, where I didn't have no choice but to look up, where God could reach up and pull me out that pit.
Jesus.
And so from that night, I got on my knees and I gave my life to Christ. And I told him, if you could change my life, I'll give you all of me from this moment. And from that moment, everything in my life changed. Everything completely changed.
That's a blessing. And what year was that?
That was 2016. March 1st, 2016. The people that the police kept threatening me to testify against, and that was also a part of the reason I tried to kill myself. I didn't want to
Wow.
testify. Yeah, uh,
Wow.
they had threatened me. The police had threatened me to if I didn't testify that they were going to indict me as a habitual criminal. And so what happened was that I ended up. I didn't have to testify. They took a plea. That God worked that out. I was given a new car like in the next week, next two
Wow.
weeks maybe.
From where?
Um,
Where were you given the new car from?
I was blessed with a new car. Just blessed.
Amen.
Yeah, finances. Thanks to a lot of blessings that came through for me. I think my mother had helped me out. Just things were coming out the blue. Everything started to change in my life. Things started to come up. I got a promotion at the job. I was making more money than I was ever making. Um, but I still was trying to hang out a little bit. Still
Okay.
was trying to hang out.
So
And
you kind of like are going into my next question, so I'm gonna ask it so you can fully like answer. So I want to know, were there any doubts or struggles that you faced prior to fully trusting and feeling like the tables were turning, right? So a lot of people think that as soon as they surrender to God, that everything is going to turn, and that's not how it necessarily happened. Things happen along the way. You see blessings, but you still get tested. So, you started talking about some of the blessings you've received, but as you go on and further in this walk, tell us the interchangeable of the blessings and also the testing that came along as you still followed on your journey before you met your wife and before y'all started this ministry.
okay, well, actually, I was I after I got out of the hospital, the friend that prophesied to me, she picked me up and she took me to her church. As I came in her church, I remember I never forget. I came in there. Her apostle came up to me and she laid hands on me and she said, "Spirit of suicide, I command you to come out of him right now."
Mm.
From that moment there, it was like everything in my life was lifted. Everything changed.
Amen.
I didn't particularly just start to backslide. I went maybe a whole year. I was sold out all the way for Christ. Like everything was like I was completely in it, like gung ho, like one of those new Christians that was just, I didn't do nothing but read the word. I go to work. On my break, I'm sitting there reading. Everything was
Amen.
good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what happened was my nephew ended up. I was trying to help my nephew get his life together, and he was a gang member, and he got murdered.
Mm.
And after he got murdered, they took everything out of me, and I started to backslide. My whole life started to go backwards from there.
And then how long from that point did it take you to get yourself back together? So we can talk to that point, to the point where you got married, and were you involved in the ministry prior to being married to your wife, or did you start in ministry prior to that?
No, I was just a member of the church pretty much at that time.
Okay, so talk to me from the time that your nephew got murdered. Then what were some of the pieces and some of the steps that took you to the place of getting your life back right?
Okay, well, actually, I was actually at that particular time I was in Bible college too, and me being in and out of prison, I didn't know much about computers or anything. I went in at a very young age.
Mm-hmm.
So through Bible college, I didn't have a laptop at the particular time. I couldn't afford a laptop. I didn't know anything like about the double spacing and the
Right.
Roman numerals.
Right.
Yeah, all this
Right.
stuff. I didn't know anything. So I had to learn all this stuff on my own. God molded me and guided me through this. And as I was starting to, it was one night I had put on Facebook that I was going to do a trial sermon. And actually my wife, she messaged me and said she would like to come.
Okay.
I didn't want her to come because I was kind of nervous.
You weren't quite sure yet.
Yeah, yeah. So, but actually, her son was my nephew's best friend.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. So once he got murdered, that brought us closer together. She was there for me through all of that, and that was the turning point for my life, which got me closer back in the ministry too, which really got me, I was out for maybe a couple months, and then I just had to. It was like I got to get my life back on track. God's been too good for me to go backwards. You know, so I started going back to church again. I started full time. Like in the Bible study, just flooding myself with God, just God, just always in worship, always in prayer, fasting, just trying to get my life back on track. And I just surrounded myself with people that were positive. And man, I ain't gonna lie, I owe her a lot. She
Amen.
helped me up
Amen.
so much. Yeah, she
Amen.
carried me through.
God will place the people in your life at the right time to help you on your pathway for His will that He has for you. So,
Yeah.
and I love that. And your wife, like, I worship with her almost every morning. So,
Yeah.
definitely a blessing for that point. So, what I want to do is, I want to take a quick commercial break very quickly. And then I want to come back on the other side. I want to talk about, we talked about your past and what you went through, but I want to talk about your current space, the ministry, you graduating from Bible college and all the things. Let's talk about what's going on with you right now. So we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Are you interested in real estate investing but not quite sure where to get started? Do you want to get the know-hows on creating ongoing passive income using the buy and hold strategy? Hi, I'm Janice Bowles, licensed realtor and co-founder of B Premier Ventures, a real estate development and consulting firm where we buy and beautify distressed real estate, renovate it, and resell for profit. With over 15 years of investing experience, B Premier has extensive knowledge in rural land development, fix and flips, and rental acquisitions. B Premier's current portfolio consists of properties within Florida and Virginia. Our firm's services includes investor project consulting, project management, and group coaching. For more information, visit our website at bpremierventures.com and schedule a complimentary discovery session or subscribe to our email list. It's free. Follow me on Instagram at Janice Bowles for additional real estate investing tips. B Premier Ventures, we buy and beautify.
Welcome back, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the first half. Like, I'm actually on the edge of my seat and just very interesting. I love hearing people background, but more importantly, I love to hear where people are right now. So I want to give a huge shout out. Thank you to all of our sponsors. And Saka Jawid is actually online listening in. So thank you so much for everybody who is tuning in. Shout out to Tony Slater, to Paula Carroll. I haven't seen you in a long time. Devetta Henderson, Linda, I'm an overcomer, Venable, Lee Smith, and I can only see those who have commented, but thank you to everyone else who is on the line tuning in. If you have any questions for Dante, please drop them in, and I can ask them as we transition into his current position and where he is now. So, a couple things. If you are not already following us on social media, please do so. We are Let's Do It Talk Show on all platforms. That is on Facebook, that is on Instagram, and it is also our YouTube channel as well as our website page. A couple things. So, huge shout out, Saka Jawed Fanning. She is one of the co-hosts on our show. She does all things financial. If you are interested in insurance quotes, looking how to balance your money, she is your girl. And Saka Jawed, you can put your information in the feed as well as you can see information to connect with her on the flyer. Next up, the Food and Drug Administration is having a minority information session. If you know any STEM students who have graduated college or any students who are looking to go into scientific positions, the Food and Drug Administration is having an information session on next week, and yours truly will be doing the presentation of how to navigate finding a federal government job and the federal application process. The climb is coming up. It is actually going to be actually out. I'm going to actually premiere in next month in September. So I had one of my friends who I met when I first started the federal government to write the forward, and she sent that to me last night. So I can't wait to review it. And last but not least, we all heal differently. It's almost like if I could be transparent, that I kind of like want to be finished with that project. But grieving and healing is a serious thing that's never going to end. As I mentioned at the beginning of the show, just tremendous losses over the past 2 weeks, and especially near and dear to our heart, our dear Shanae Robinson, her son, Jawan. He transitioned this weekend, so we definitely will be dedicating our shows to him upcoming. To Neil Blackwell, so many other people. I'm not gonna rename them again, but just me getting it together to make these packages up. I don't think that it's going to end. I thought that this was the end of my portion. So again, make sure you take care of your family members, love on your family members, and hug on your family members, because this past 3 weeks for me, just witnessing other people, and y'all know how empathetic I am, and showing of empathy, it has just been breaking my heart. But let's continue with the remainder of the show. I'm so excited to have Mr. Dante Smith on with us and sharing his testimony. Y'all know I come from the streets of the streets of streets. Although, like, I never sold drugs or never, like, really got involved in anything like that, so many of my childhood friends did. So I witnessed this. So to see anybody to get through that without dying or being in jail for life, it is like a blessing for my soul. So his testimony is blessing me in so many different ways. So Dante, let's bring you back on and let's finish up your story. So, in the beginning, we talked all about all of the trials that you had from a young kid. We really start and delved in from the age 15 on up. So now we're at in your current space where you are proud to be a man of God. You went from one religion to this one, and you talked about so many things very openly about your spiral of hitting rock bottom, and now we're on the way up. So let's finish talking about the way up. So let's please, if you can, share with me about your current space, what ministries you are in, what you and your wife are doing to impact society and to just live out the purpose that God has for you to.
All right. Actually, I'm a men. I'm a I'm a member of Lord, excuse me, of CDC Impact Center.
Okay.
Actually, but I have my own ministry that I brought forth called Sharpshooter Ministry. Sharpshooter Ministries is basically a bunch of us that's interceding for our youth. We're a bunch of prophetic, I call it prophetic snipers, basically, okay, that we're praying, our prayers are hitting the mark in the spiritual realm. We're ministers that's not scared to go into the streets, that's going right back to the neighborhoods that we came from. Okay. And we're bringing the word of God to the youth. We're doing whatever we can, and we got to bring them. We're trying to teach them in every kind of way. If we can teach them business credit, if we can teach them regular credit, teaching them job skills, how to fill out applications. We're trying to get all types of things going forth to help our youth to better themselves. Things that I didn't have as a youth. There was nowhere that was teaching these kind of things. Since the last few years, I've started to learn more and more about credit, and I've started to learn. Now I'm learning more about business credit. I'm trying to start to share that with more and more people, more of our youth, actually, to get them in a better position as they get older and prepared, so they won't make a lot of the mistakes that a lot of us have made.
Amen. And what age? What age? Is there a target age group for the youth that you all service?
No, it's not. But I particularly like the 18 to 21,
Okay.
the hard headed ones, the harder headed ones.
Right. And
Yeah,
what city and state are you in?
Raleigh, North Carolina.
Okay, okay. We
Yeah.
definitely got to talk about the job application and the job seeking type of thing. I definitely would love to volunteer and to help out in the efforts that you're doing in that avenue. So I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. We have a financial show. You talked about business credit and credit. We have a financial show the second Tuesday of every month. Um, and again, my girl Shanae, she's dealing with something right now, but Saka Jawid is on the line as well as we have Janice Bowles. So we would love, I'm speaking on behalf of them as well, we would love to partner up and just kind of like help out, even if it's a one time thing or do something. So we'll definitely connect. I have a soft spot for youth as well. So I love that, but please proceed.
Oh yeah, and so I mean, like we will pretty much try to participate in any kind of outreach. Me and my wife, we're big on the homeless. Like right now, we're doing a drive. We're about to do a drive for blankets. It's about to get cool, so we're starting to work on blankets for the homeless. We do all types of hygiene products, whatever it is that we can do to make things better. A lot of the homeless guys, they tell me they want sleeping bags and different things because a lot of them, especially since COVID, haven't been able to get into the shelters. So a lot of them are sleeping outside. So we try to do as much as we can to help out in whatever avenues that we can. Um, the ministry is kind of new,
Okay.
but we're still touching bases on a lot of things, but we're participating in it wherever we can. I have so many friends that do so much outreach stuff. I've been involved in it for a while, so now I'm just starting to step out on my own.
Okay. Are y'all a 501c3 or y'all just starting off in?
Just starting off, not yet though, but actually that we're working on it right now, so it should be any day now.
Okay,
That
sounds
should be
good.
taken care of. Yeah.
So,
But actually we are under our current ministry, but not under our own.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. So it's a couple things and a couple of ministries that you have. So I'm gonna name them, and anything else that you want to add
Yeah.
into, you can definitely do. So one that I saw was strong soldier on the battlefield for Christ, and that's you or what you are, a mentor at Flow,
Yes.
co-founder of Team Hope Outreach, and founder of Sharpshooter Ministry. So you went deeply into the Sharpshooter Ministry as well as some of the other things. Are there any other ministries or any other activities that you're engaged in that you want to share?
Um, Not really. I'm just working more and more on trying to get my ministry going. Um, I just want to do more and more in the community. I'm trying to, a lot of people just look at it as just being behind the pulpit or just, preaching, and it's not that to me. I'm trying to get to the people that people don't want to go to.
Right,
The
right.
people that like I've seen some homeless people, man. I come up and I give them a hug, and they'll be like, "What? You hugged me?
Yes.
What?" And it just amazed them. Or they're just to hear them say, "You remembered my name." Yeah, just something as simple as that. Just to show them that people really love you. You know, um,
Yeah, I
I
love
just
what
try
you
to
all doing. I love no,
yeah,
you can go ahead. I'm just saying I
nah,
love what you all doing. When you actually started saying and you keep using the word street, I have a friend that I grew up with. He is now a pastor, Major Bandy, but he has an organization called Street Ministry. That's what he does. He goes straight
Mm-hmm.
to the street, feed homeless people, clothe them,
Yep.
do whatever is necessary. So I love what you're doing. Love what you're doing. I didn't want to interrupt you, but it
No, you're
just made
good.
me think of my good friend Major. And he has been on my show a couple times, and I actually got to witness him like in action. And I'm very proud of him and very proud of you as well as your wife and what you all are doing.
Yeah, I love it. It's amazing just to get out there. I love to just sit out there and just talk with them. Find out what's going on. Sometimes to hear the stories of what people are going through, it motivates me. Like the little stuff that I may be complaining about, and you really realize that it's nothing
Yes, I
compared to.
have this thing called 7-Eleven Ministries.
Oh wow.
Every now and then, I just go to the 7-Eleven, and that's where a lot of homeless people hang out. And I will just give them a very generous amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, it's crazy. Don't judge me. I have like a whole bunch of Girl Scout cookies, and they expire next month, and I don't want to eat them, and I don't want them
Mm-hmm.
to expire. So, in addition to the money, I've been giving them like Girl Scout cookies just as a treat. But the thing that I do is I actually talk to them, and I'll be like, "What's your story?" You would be amazed at some of the stories that they have and how they ended up where they are. So it's very, very important for us not to judge people. We don't know people's story. We don't know where they've been. And then last but not least, as you do and what you said is make do the slightest thing that you do can make somebody feel so special, and you don't even know that might be the turning moment when you have a conversation with them, somebody that feel like they're down and out, like worthless, and when people are walking in and out the store probably disrespecting them, looking at them like a such a way, you don't know their story and how they got that. So just maybe, just sometimes, anybody who's listening, just be open and kind of like kind. And you already know, like I shared on the show previously, my
Mm-hmm.
struggle of like dealing with homeless and then coming back because a long time ago I had offered them my sandwich that was brand new because I didn't have any money. And a homeless man cussed me out so bad and was like, "I don't want your MFN sandwich." And I wanted to fight him. I wanted to fight him. And for years, it impacted me for a minute about giving to the homeless or worrying about where it come from. Changed my whole mind. Now I feel good about it, but more so talking to them and opening up. Not like feeling good about the money that I'm giving, and definitely not the cookies, but I'm feeling good about when I walk away from them, the open conversation and the dialogue that we have. You never know how you can inspire someone. So I have truly enjoyed you, but I definitely want to know for you. So, although you were not in a gang for a long time, you were in that life all from 15 on up to 39, and you had your ups and downs. What advice or what message would you give to someone who's currently having struggles in the street, dealing with their lifestyle, selling drugs, or even gang banging? What if you had an audience of those type of people in front of you right now, what message would you give to them to inspire them to change their life?
Well, I'm gonna first of all, I guess I'll say I was going through my Facebook page yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
and I was looking at the amount of people on my page that were deceased,
Mm.
and that was enough right there to just kind of wake me up. Like, God gave me an opportunity. I'm still here after all that I've done, all the wrong that I've done. God gave me an opportunity to still live on. But I'm looking at all these people that are maybe younger than me that have passed on, that are gone. And I mean, it's so many of my Facebook friends that, man, that have died even within the last year. And it's just, it's not worth it. I don't care. I would rather be free. I love the lifestyle was good, it was fun, but I would rather be free in the
Mm.
world than locked up with all the money in the world.
There you
That's the
go.
best thing I can say for myself. I mean, the time that I spend now, I wasted so much of my life. The time that I have enjoying with my family and loving it, I love it. I don't have to hang out no more. I could be in the bed at 8 o'clock at night. I don't
Come
care.
on.
I'm here enjoying my family, my niece. I sit back and watch TV. I don't go anywhere, and I'm at peace with that. I'm living a good old life just like that, and I'm happy with that. And I was somebody that was out all the time, nonstop. I was always in the streets. So I mean, just to be able to really see life for what it is and enjoy it, do it while you can because you never know when it's going to be taken from you.
Man, that's right. Do it. You got to live your life to the fullest. I'm telling you, man, every time I was going through and I did not know your full story. So that's why I was so engaging on my seat and letting you ride through it. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story. Thank you so much for the mornings that you're able to make it into the room to offer a prayer or to say anything. Send my love to your wife, to your beautiful wife. Thank her for all the work that she does in keeping Trucking God's Way going on the days that she does. So, man, I'm trying to tell you, go listen to Tremaine Hawkins. I'm listening to that on my ride home. Change. If I could sing it, I'm telling you, I would sing that for you right now. I am extremely proud of you and everything that you're doing. So, please tell our listeners how if they want to connect with you, they want to support you in your ministry. Please tell them how they can connect with you, and follow your ministry.
Uh, Basically, well, I really don't have a way that you can follow it right now just through my Facebook page.
Okay.
I haven't even started doing the internet yet with it.
Okay.
It hasn't gotten that big yet that I was gonna go ahead and start a Facebook page for it yet, but I haven't done it yet. But you can always reach me through mine, just Dante Smith, or through my wife's page, Lynette Smith. But I will, so I just let a lot of things get by. But God had been talking to me through the last couple months just to get back on track. The dreams that I had once put in you to pick back up. So I've just started getting everything back flowing again like I'm supposed to.
Amen, amen. And when you get it up, all the information, you know how to reach out to me. You know how to connect with me. We can bring you back on the show. We can do updates. As anything go, and I'm going to connect with you for the ladies from the financial show and definitely career development. I love doing that. So I definitely will donate some time and assist with that. So once again, thank you so much. Any last minute words?
No, that's it. That's pretty much it.
To
I
the
really
point,
enjoyed
right?
it though.
I
Yeah.
I, I appreciate you coming on, and no other choice. No other choice.
Other
That's
choice.
that's your book right there. No
Definitely.
other choice. No other choice. So thank you once again.
Thank you too.
So thank you all so much for tuning in and listening. As I said, I didn't know the full story. I heard like bits and pieces of it when he does his testimony in the morning times. But oh my God, what a powerful story! What a way of going through a serious test and turning it into a testimony. So once again, thank you all for tuning in. Please make sure you follow us on all social media platforms. We are at Let's Do a Talk Show. That's our Instagram page, our Facebook group name, our YouTube channel, our website, as well as information. If you have any testimonies and you're interested in coming on the show, please do so. And Sakaja will put second Monday, so I don't know what I may have said while I was in the most, but the financial ladies, the money making money episodes are the second Monday of each month. And in addition to the others who were I shouted out before, Yanette Rez, aka Shawnee, as well as Anthony Dobbins has joined. And Anthony said, thoroughly enjoyed you tonight, MOG. Blessings to you, my KMM brother. So I guess that's Dante, and he throwing some signs or whatever. I don't know, or ministry signs. But thank you all for tuning in, and we have upcoming shows where one show. So I'm not even gonna go through all of the shows, but one show we're gonna talk about customer service and the impact and triggers. Right? Unfortunately, my cousin had a real traumatic experience with the funeral home in DC. So I openly share. Like I used to be a closed book. I openly share now because of the show. But my aunt transitioned, and her main funeral was in South Carolina, and then her body was brought up to DC, where it was supposed to be a ceremony here, as well as her burial. So the burial happened in the celebration of life, but I asked my cousin to calm down and to not really go into the details about the funeral home, but I'm bringing him on the show, and we're going to talk about customer service and triggers and how people treat and sensitivity and all of these various things. So please follow us on all social media platforms, and I'll be sharing more about upcoming shows. But thank you all for joining, and I'll see you all next week. And rest in peace to Jawan. So, peace. See you all next week.